What's going on, y'all? Let's Be Real podcast, episode 11. And this is going to be our NBA edition. So I got my brother Jonathan here with me. He's going to be the NBA guy. So we're going to go into it. But as you know, we always start off with I got the wine of the episode, man. It's going to be the Poggerissi. This is a Tuscan red. So Italian wine. A little bit more balanced, not quite as bold as I usually like it, but still very dry and going to be more dark fruits and a little bit of a vanilla flavor with it. So definitely I'll put the rating in there. Try it out if y'all want, if it sounds like something you guys like. But yeah, man, so good episode today. We're going to get into, like I said, the NBA. We're going to go through some predictions that we both have, as well as just some storylines coming into the league and then maybe some things we see coming down the pipeline later. And then at the end, just kind of have some fun with it on as far as what we think about the NBA as a whole and some things that we would change. And so, like I said, we got Jonathan here.
What's up?
So we're gonna hop right into it, y'all. And so hopping into it, just to start off, we're gonna go with kind of our playoff predictions and who we think what that's gonna shake out like. And so you want to start?
Do you want me to just go through like teams, or how do we want to do this?
Nah, so let's do. We're gonna go. We'll start with the West. You give your 8, and then I don't know if you did the the kind of teams for the play-in, or if you just have your top 8.
I just kind of went my top 10 teams.
Okay,
and then
perfect. So yeah, so we'll go through your top 10. We'll go through my top 10, kind of see where we disagree, talk about it some, and then we'll move to the East.
All right. So starting off in the West, Thunder, they're the best team in the West. They're the deepest team. They got the players, Shea, Jalen Williams, all that. Second, I actually think this is kind of weird, but I like the Suns.
Okay.
I think Budenholzer is their coach. I mean, you got KD. Tyus Jones, huge pickup for them, actually. So they actually have a point guard to run their team. Then Denver third, my team. They look kind of bad right now, but they'll figure it out. Best player in the league. After that, probably the Wolves, especially with how Anthony Edwards is playing. They're just a young team coming up. Then this one will actually kind of, I don't know if you're going to agree with this one. I think the Warriors.
Okay.
I think I know Steph's hurt right now, but he kind of, they're so deep. They have 10 guys that can play. They're all good players, not great players, but you still got Draymond. You got Heald, who's shooting 60% from three. Don't think that's going to last, but Wiggins. Then probably the Mavs. I'm not high on the Mavs really at all. I know Luka's, probably the second best player in the league, but I don't like their roster. Then we'll go probably the Lakers. I wouldn't have said this at the beginning of the year, but I think JJ is just such a good coach. It's not even the talent. Their team's the same, but JJ is such a good coach that I hate it, but whatever. And then the Grizzlies. Is that 8? I think that was 8. But
yeah, so you said what?
OKC, Suns, Nuggets, Wolves, Warriors, Lakers, Grizz, and Mavs, right?
Yeah, Lakers, yeah. Mavs.
So
and then Grizzlies. So yeah, that's 8.
And I think the Grizz. I think the West is so good just in general. Mm-hmm. But as much as I don't even like Ja as a player, I think their team's they're deep. They can shoot. Bane, I think, might even be their best player at times. So that's kind of my 8. Then you go into the Pels, the Rockets. Mm-hmm. I do like the Rockets, but I just think they're young. I don't like Jalen Green that much. Don't think he's a super efficient player. Şengün shooting 38% from the field. So
okay,
those are kind of my 2 teams, and then after that,
yeah. So I think we have a lot of the same stuff. So for me, I have OKC at 1. I think they're that team where we saw Memphis back a few years ago, where it's I think they're coming out trying to win the West.
The young team that's just they're going all out in the
exactly. So I think they're going to be the 1 seed. Number 2, I have Dallas again. I think just with Luka and the way that team is constructed, I think they're just going to win games just because of their talent, and they have guys who can hit. They have 2 guys who can hit big shots.
The thing about them, and that's the reason I have them lower. I think they're still good, but it's just once you go to the finals, the regular season doesn't matter anymore.
I get that, and I would say the reason why I have them so high, because I thought about that, is I don't think there's obviously OKC is that young team that's going to be like gunning for like wins in the regular season. I don't see another team in the West, and like you'll see like here in a little bit why I have some other teams lower. But I just think that Dallas, with their talent and no other team really like looking to go for wins, because I think the West is just, I think the West is a lot of teams that like are contenders, but they're not going to be. They're older,
Well, it's just they're all good.
yeah,
so
and so that's why I have Dallas too. 3, I have Denver. For the same reason. Like I think Denver's going to be third place because I think like they're not going for wins.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to win the West, but like they're going to have just games where because they have Jokic, they have Murray, where it's just they're going to win just because of their offense and the players they have. And then I have Phoenix at 4. I think with just their firepower. I'm not as high on the Tyus Jones thing. I know he was a big pickup for them, and like that was kind of what they're missing is that point guard to run the offense. But Tyus Jones, whenever he's been in a starting role, he's never performed well.
Yeah, but he hasn't had like
no, and I get that. It's like he's never been like a consistent starter, but I just don't think he's a starting level player, and so I don't see him being as big of an impact as like what they need, or as it's perceived.
Yeah, but he just my thing. The reason I liked him so much was he doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't need to like be the guy. They have KD, they have Booker, they have Beal, I guess, but like he doesn't need to be the guy. He just needs to not turn it over and make shots.
But that's the thing is like one of the things because he's known for not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
But his turnovers go way up when he starts.
Yeah,
and so which it's again like because you're playing more minutes, it's going to happen. But that's why I'm not as high on the Tyus Jones thing. I think he's a great player still, like as far as for what he is, but as from a starting perspective, that's why I'm just like I still got him at the 4 seed. Like he's going to make an impact because they do need somebody who can distribute the ball and run an offense, but it's just not as big of a get for me. 5, I got Minnesota, the T-Wolves. They're one of the teams where I think coming into the year, if they would have brought back the same team, I probably would have had them higher. But I think the Julius Randle move, I hate the fit. Like absolutely hate the fit, and I think they take a step back.
I agree with that.
Year.
I just think they're like the team too who kind of wants to win in the regular. They're young, like those younger teams. You got. I mean, they're really not that young, but Anthony.
Yeah, it's just Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, but he's their guy. So
yeah,
he has the energy to just keep going in the regular season.
Yeah, so. but again, like, and that's my thing, and we'll talk about them in a second because they're one of the teams, obviously, where they had a big change up this offseason, and so we'll talk about them and kind of dive more into them. But yeah, I think with the Julius Randle thing, it basically gives them they have one scoring option now that can that's like a scorer on their team.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're going to be as good as last year because Cat, whether you like him or not, like he
fit better.
Yeah, he's he fit better with the offense, and he's a guy who can still go get his own bucket and like at an elite level.
Yeah.
And so 6, I have the Lakers. So same thing, like you said, bringing back the same squad, but like I just think the upgrade from Darvin Ham, who I couldn't stand, but from him to JJ, I think, and I don't know, I mean, it's still kind of out whether JJ is going to be a good coach or not. Yeah, but I think from what I've seen, I mean, the flow of the offense looks so much better. The ball movement is so much better. You're finally seeing like AD kind of be that focal point. LeBron kind of take the step back.
I thought that was the biggest thing. The fact that JJ, I think it's a respect thing. Honestly, I don't think LeBron liked him, and whatever. I don't know how good he was as a coach. I think he was fine. He just wasn't good. But I think JJ came in and was like, "Look, Bron, you're taking a step back."
Yeah, I just think if you go because like I said, I don't think Darvin Ham. I was gonna say I don't think he was the worst coach in the league.
But all the Laker fans did. Don't even.
No, well, okay, but like, so the reason though is because if you like, obviously I was watching Laker games because I'm a Bron fan, but like it's just there was the rotations like were bad. Like it was something. I saw a stat the other day that said D'Angelo Russell had D'Angelo Russell and AD was like the most passed matchup. Like so, D'Lo to AD had the most passes. But they're running that they're having those two on the court now at the same time, almost like double what they did with Darvin Ham.
Yeah, and I heard,
and it's things like that.
I didn't watch all of their games, but like I always heard the rotation thing. Torian Prince was always playing. That guy's not good.
Yeah.
But it's all, and JJ even, they asked him the starting lineup before the season. He's like, we're going to do the team that like was like 12-2 is when they played together.
Yeah.
They started together. And like, that's fine. I also don't think you guys had good players last year.
Yeah.
And you still don't really. You have a couple guys, but
yeah, I just think that, and then the adjustments. Like, I think JJ is going to be so much better at adjustments in game, in halftime. And Darvin Ham, it was like what you came into the game with. That's what you left with the game with.
So, they adjusted. All right, man.
Yeah, so,
that's cool.
Yeah, and so like I think when you go from like a D, which I think is like a high grade for Darvin Ham, but you go from a D head coach to even if JJ is like a B.
I gotta tell you, I think he's an A. I think he's like a top 5 coach.
And that's what I'm saying. But I'm trying to shrink it. Like I don't want to give him high mark. I don't want to give Darvin the low mark. So I'm like, okay, let me bring it in. So, but I think if you just go from a D to a B, like your team is drastically better in the NBA. Yeah. And so, but anyways, so Lakers at 6, Golden State at 7.
I see.
And so this one is tough for me because I mean they're killing it right now. Like even with Steph not playing, and it's just for me, I just think they're gonna hit that thing where. Because it's just Steph now. Like, Buddy Hield is cool, but, like, he's going to obviously regress back.
Look, let me just go back on this before you even say anything. I agree. I've been like, we're how many games into the year? Like
6,
7,
7, something
so,
like that.
I think they're going to. Andrew Wiggins is shooting 58% from 3.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield is shooting like 56% from 3. It might be flip-flop, but like that's not going to last.
Exactly.
But they do have they have Pods, they have Melton, they have like all these guys on the bench that are just good. Kuminga's on their bench, Moody's on their these guys are good NBA players.
But that's the thing is I think Golden State has like a bunch of like C plus players,
100%.
And so what it's going to come down, like obviously they're playing great right now, but obviously there's going to be those they're going to regress to the mean, which means that they're going to be bad for a while too. Like there's going to be times where they're just bad. And so I think with Steph, especially at his age, because, he's an older guy now, like he's going to be asked to carry so much of that offensive load for them, I think, that it's just I could see them towards the end of the season dropping games and like not quite being as fresh or I could see Steph kind of wearing down throughout the year.
Yeah, but I just that's actually why I talk about how deep they are, because they're like, they have all these guys that's like, and they're offensive guys. That's the thing. Like, Hield's an offensive guy. Wiggins, he's been an offensive guy, and he's shown moments of being really good.
Yeah,
obviously, he disappeared for like a month last year. But like, if those guys can keep going, Draymond's always gonna be what he is.
Yeah,
good defensive player.
The Draymond thing is always weird because there's times during the year, like even last year, where I saw him and I was like, oh, like because I don't think he's gonna age well.
No, I don't either.
And there's times last year where you're like, oh, yep, there it is. It hit him, like age hit him. He's finally going to be done. But then he like brings it back. And so eventually there's going to come that time with Draymond where we're going to see like, oh, he aged and there isn't the bounce back.
But that's the thing is you surround him with offensive. He's a smart player. He's a smart offensive player.
Absolutely.
He's not obviously not skilled, but he's smart. So you give him like a Hield, Pods, like smart guys who are good offensive players. Pods isn't that good, but.
Yeah, and I would say Draymond is skilled. He's just not.
He's not a scorer.
He's not a scorer, but like skilled as far as like for his size, the ability to handle the ball, run the point guard, pass the ball. Like you said, and he's got the high IQ, which is weird coming from a guy who also is arguably like the lowest IQ.
Yeah, but no, he's
times.
New man.
but no, he's always been like great as far as he's perfect for what the Warriors have always needed.
Yeah,
and so, but again, I just think. With Steph having to carry the load offensively, it's just hard for a guy his age at his size. I think they that's why I have them lower. Is I think he's either going to need to take games off or he's going to wear down, which I think that's where you see him drop some. And so after that 8, I got Houston.
Okay,
and then and then the 2 teams I have as far as like the play-ins, I got Memphis, who. We were talking about this. Yep.
So much better.
I love watching. Ja is one of those guys I love watching him play. I just don't think he contributes to like winning basketball consistently, like over time. And so I know they had that one year where like they again won the West.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be them. And I also just don't. He's also just a guy where you're like, he's one Instagram live away from being suspended again.
Yeah, no, like he hasn't made the best decisions.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, so I have them at the 9, and then Sacramento. I think I was kind of going between them and New Orleans at the 10. I think New Orleans is probably going to make a trade that probably doesn't fit with their team as much, and so I think they just kind of bump out. And I think Sacramento's just got that kind of with De'Aaron and Sabonis, like they've got the built-in foundation. Yeah, and DeRozan. Like I think they got the built-in foundation where like they're just going to end up there.
See, the only reason I don't really like the Kings, I mentioned them, but you got to have shooting.
Yeah.
And like you have DeRozan, you have De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox has actually become a better shooter.
Yeah.
But like Sabonis can't really shoot. And
yeah, no, like, I didn't like the DeRozan pick for him. Like I didn't think he fit well. It just gives them another guy that they already have.
Yeah.
That's just so. But yeah, I just think they're going to be slightly better than New Orleans. Perfect. So then let's move over to the East. And so you want me to start that one?
Yeah, you start that.
Okay. So with the East, so first I got obviously Boston.
Yeah.
I think like Boston, like going back to, I don't think they're going to be gunning for like winning the East. I just think they're just so good that they're just going to win it. So I got Boston. I got the Knicks after that. I think they're going to find a way to really like get Cat going and like integrated into that. And I think he probably ends up being their number one option. Like with like, I think he's 1A, Brunson's 1B.
Oh no. But I agree. We're the same. We're the same right now.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
3, Cleveland. I think they're going to be in like a similar space as like OKC. A lot of young guys with a lot of talent,
and just
outside of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
but Donovan Mitchell's he's
like
great offensive player.
Yeah, he's their
so I think they're going to push for wins, and we've even seen it so far. I mean, they're undefeated so far, like 7-0, 8-0 right now. So, but yeah, I think Mobley probably takes a step this year, and I think I know the talk has been they might move Jared Allen, but we'll see. I think he kind of actually fits with what they need.
See, the thing about Mobley, because we're actually the same. I have the same thing. Like everyone keeps saying he's going to take a step. I just don't think he's a good offensive player. Like I think he's good defensively. He can switch. He can kind of do everything.
Oh, defensively he's great. But yeah,
like is he going to be able to shoot? Like he's getting better, but like
his mid range. Even going back to college, because like I watched him at USC with the very little college basketball I watch, but like he had that little elbow jumper, and I just like. Ever since I saw him at USC, I was like, if he can ever like even just develop like a 34% 3-point shot, it'd be ridiculous for him. But I don't think he's got that this year. I just think like with his ability like in that mid-range game, and then I just think him playing the 4, he's going to have at such an advantage on the block over like 80% of the league at a 4.
The thing about that's not what the NBA is about anymore. They're not going to put Evan Mobley, who's might be a below average like post player on the block because he has like Aaron Gordon on him. Like
I get that, but what I'm thinking too is his pick and roll, like where he has the ability to pop, has the ability to roll, and like I think against other 4s he's going to have the advantage. Or if he gets a switch, then I mean obviously he's going to have an advantage. But I think I think I can see him taking a step this year offensively, just because. I mean, I think they need that third guy.
Garland's good.
No, I love Garland, but I think they need that like next option who can give them a 20-point game
without it being brought by those other guys. Feeding him. Yeah.
For Orlando, I think again, young team who's going to be gunning for wins. Although Paolo's out.
I was just about to say, is that before the Paolo injury?
Because that was tough. So even with the Paolo injury, my problem with it was I was like, because he's going to be out. What is it?
I think it's like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 to 8 weeks.
Like, let's just say a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah, I think the East is so bad after like the top 4 teams, 5 teams, that they're going to still win enough games to where once he gets back, like he can come in and like kind of just get back to what they were doing.
Dude, first off, they can't score.
No,
like they're unreal,
especially without Paolo.
The amount of bets I've put on their unders in their games and won is actually kind of insane. But with him gone now, it's like Franz has to be the guy. He has to step up and be good. But like the other guys, it's like KCP's not creating for himself. No. Suggs has become like good, but like
which is crazy because I thought he was going to be the worst.
I know, I remember. I actually
I did not like him. I mean, granted, I think I've been somewhat proven right about him.
Yeah, but I remember vividly when he came out, I was like, he can just be like Gary Harris. Like before Gary Harris's injuries, and he became who happens to be on that team too. But none of these guys are really the guy you want. Like, create for us.
No,
so that's what scares me.
Yeah, like I said, I just think the East is so bad at like
that's fair
from like 5 down. Like they're going to be able to win games because they have such a good defense.
First off, you haven't even mentioned a team yet, and I'm sure they're coming soon.
Okay, well, we'll see. So 5 Indiana.
Oh,
I think they're going to get it together. I think they're a team like their offense. Like we saw last year, like when their offense is rolling, like they just put up so many points that they're going to win because they put up so many points.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're not going to stop nobody. Couldn't stop a nosebleed.
No, but I'm kind of out on Halliburton. I don't know why.
I'm not a fan. Like, okay, so let me not say I'm not a fan of this. He is like the current day, like, point guard that, like, your analytics wants.
Just shoots threes
and gets 10 assists.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Like, I feel like he doesn't really create. Like, he does get assists and he does create a little, but he's the only guy I've ever seen who, like, sometimes I look at his stats and he's like 0 for like 11. I'm like,
yeah,
you don't even take hard shots.
I think Halliburton is one of the most like empty stat double guys.
I can agree
in the league because he'll have like 28 and 10 or 25 and 10 or 25 and 12, and you're like, but did you really like impact the game at all? And it's like, no.
And then the next game he's 1 for 12, and he was 0 for 7 from 3, and it was like, oh, dude, 2 and 6, that was cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, but I just think they're gonna be they're gonna outscore so many teams, and again, the East is so bad. So, but 6 Philly.
Oh, I was waiting for it. Yeah. There it is,
man. And so I just honestly. They were tough for me because I feel like, again, the East so bad, like Paul George, Tyrese Maxey are going to win you games. But it's just the Embiid thing where he's not playing any back-to-backs.
Or playing in general.
Yeah, which, again, yeah. So, but like even just if he plays every game and doesn't play back-to-backs, it's 13 or something games he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So I'm basically saying, like, okay, you got 10 losses in there.
10 losses, and that's not counting the games he's already missed.
Exactly, where he's gonna, and then he's gonna miss games because he's hurt. He's gonna miss games because it's just so. I don't think they're gonna be a team. What I really think is I think they're gonna try to just do just enough to get into the playoffs, and then hope Embiid is healthy and Paul George is healthy, and they can make some noise in the playoffs. So I think the regular season is gonna be so trivial for them. That's why I'm like, whatever, like bottom of the East.
So we're almost exactly the same. I just have the Pacers and the Sixers
swapped.
But
okay.
Going back to that, like I think Maxey's really good. Like
he's a monster,
really good. But Embiid, like, dude, you literally you had the Olympics and then you were off.
That
you
was
come back to the
thing.
season. It's like, hey, I'm not going to play back to back. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm also not going to start the season. I'm going to push a reporter who was questioning me, and he's like, well, with all I've done for Philadelphia, what has he done?
Yeah, I mean, so...
Like, he's been a great player. You won an MVP.
Yeah, like, it's tough because, I mean, for him, right, it's just... And look, Philly's my team. So, like, but... So I sympathize with, like, the Embiid thing because, one, I think he does get a bad rap as far as, like, dude, I mean, your body's your body. Like, you get dealt what you get dealt. Yeah. Some people just can't stay healthy. Like we've seen it especially with big guys throughout NBA.
But let's just go back to things he said where he's like, yeah, this year we're really focusing on getting healthy for the playoffs. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
The other years you were focused on not being healthy for the playoffs?
Yeah, well, and that was my thing. Is like, I just think, because I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, is I look at it where I'm like, okay, so last year he was hurt the last like month and a half of the season. And it was like the injury he had, he was supposed to be out like 4 to 5 weeks, something like that. He ended up taking like 6-7 weeks out. So it's like, okay, perfect. So he should be like
he even came back for like a couple of games before the end of the season to
get in shape and everything. And then he goes into the playoffs and he's still hurt. Yeah. I just think like his body is not built for an 80. I'm not even gonna say 82 game, but like you know what I mean as far as like a full NBA season where even with him missing games and then playoffs, like it's just that's not what his body's built for. The thing coming into this year where he came into this year hurt, I don't know, I don't understand because I'm like okay, like you said, he was in the Olympics, played the last game of the Olympics, and then no basketball since then, and comes in and he's like, yeah, I can't play, and it's like what happened? Like the Paul George coming in hurt. I get like we saw him hyperextend his knee in the game. Like if that was Embiid, like you see, I saw him roll an ankle.
That's fine.
Yeah, I get it. But like, dog, nothing
Olympics
happened.
Played regular season, not playing.
Exactly. So like, I just don't get that. And so I think they're gonna try to figure it out. Daryl Morey had like a thing where I was watching somebody talk about Daryl Morey and like kind of how he's like, well, you know, you don't have guys playing, but you know, where do you kind of draw the balance? And Daryl Morey's whole thing was he's like, the NBA gives me rules about how much of or what I can do for players as far as sitting them out and things like that. He's like, so I have to operate in that, but at the end of the day, my job is to make sure we win like playoff games. So when I heard that, that's why I think I'm like, I don't think we're going to see a lot of Embiid during the regular season. I think if there's a reason to hold him out, they probably will, because I think between Maxey, Paul George, like they'll be able to win enough games to get him in.
Yeah, and we probably need to move on at some point here. Yeah. But the other thing is, like, Paul George is a new piece. So it's not like this is like a team where it's like, all right, Embiid, he'll come in, they'll fit in. Like,
no, they got to figure it out.
And you have to play games with these guys. Like, you have to get chemistry. And Paul George is coming. I think he came back today.
Yeah, today is his first game.
Yeah, so like he's back. But now it's like he's going to come back. He has to get used to playing with Maxey and like in their system. Then Embiid's going to come back, and that just changes everything.
Yeah, because now Paul George, I would say Paul George is going to be their third option.
Yeah, he should.
And so you go from Paul George being option number 2 right now with Maxey,
possibly 1 at times.
Yeah, and then Embiid will be the first option when he gets back, and so. Yeah, having to change from like, okay, I got to bounce between being the first option some night, second option some night, totally different than having to be the second or third.
Like running the offense on the block or wherever he wants to run.
So it's a very different, like their whole offense is going to be different with Embiid in there. So but yeah, anyways, that's why I have them lower here. Yeah. 7 is Milwaukee.
Mine changed. I had Milwaukee higher, and then as
I did too. But I saw the start of the season, and I was like, "My goodness!" That's why I'm kind of glad we're doing this like a week and a half in, because they look. I just the thing is I don't know what they can do.
Like, I mean, well, I can tell you one thing. Maybe get rid of the coach who really hasn't won anywhere except for that one ring.
No one has gotten more play off one ring than Doc Rivers.
Yeah, like
ever.
He comes in for the I can't remember the old coach's name, but he was like an advisor for him. Then takes his job, and then he does awful. Then he kind of blames, like he in the offseason, he blamed Dame. He was like, "Well, Dame didn't really work out. You know, he was scared.
He came out of shape."
Hurt. So it's like, okay, whatever. Now it's Dame. He talked about Dame coming back. He's like, Dame's been working out twice a week, blah blah blah, or 2 a days every week, like things like that. And then it's like, oh, and now we're in the season. We don't have an identity. Giannis is pissed. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no, and I think, and so I just think there's one. I thought at the time when they got rid of Drew and brought in Dame, I thought it was a bad move. Period, because like that was their identity, right? Great defensive team. Have the superstar in Giannis, who is, I mean, limited offensively, but he's still going to give you 28.
He's still dominant.
He's a Shaq kind of. He's like a new age kind of Shaq, where it's just he's unstoppable going to the rim.
He's just a physical specimen. He has no real skill per se. I mean, he can dribble, whatever, but no real skill. But he'll use his. He's going to
out DNA you.
Yeah,
at the end of the day. So. But so I think bringing in Dame, like I thought it could work, but it had to be a very specific way they win with Dame. It's like we saw. I don't know if you watched their game last night, 2 nights ago, where like Giannis had like 35 and Dame had like 35, but they still lost. But they have to that's how they have to do it, and they still have to be great defensively with a less good guard.
Well, that's the other problem. They're not going to be good defensively. Dame is awful defensively.
Yep.
Like. Middleton's not anywhere near
what he used to be.
So
Nope.
it's like they don't
And
really
even,
have defensive pieces. They don't really have offensive pieces. It's really
No,
just Giannis. Dame's kind of weird in that second role. Like
Yeah.
he's used to being number one guy. It kind of feels like they don't run a ton of two man with him and Giannis to like kind of.
Yeah.
And Dame's not a great passer. So
No. Like, yeah, I just think the fit is weird with him. And like you said, like Middleton's not what he used to be. Lopez isn't what he used to be. Like he's even showing the age. And so yeah, I just think like that's why I think they probably maybe blow it up during the year and see what they can do.
Blow it up meaning get rid of Giannis, or blow it up.
So I also think because Giannis is running in the last year of his deal, I think.
I don't know if that's. I think he might.
Last year he's got one more after it, but he might be a guy where I think he might be leaving Milwaukee.
I mean, he's starting to.
Because, like, it used to be, he's like, no, I want to be in Milwaukee, I want to be in Milwaukee. And then the last year or so, it's been like, well, you know, if they don't, like, you know, bring pieces in to, like, make us a contender, like, he's kind of hinted at he might leave. Which I think when you go from such a switch up as like, no, I'll never leave Milwaukee to like, I mean, well, if they're not doing,
win, I want to win.
Yeah, I want to win. And so, like, that's like a 180 turn, and so I could see him.
But your boy Darvin's he's an assistant over there with his boy Torian Prince too.
Yeah, weird how that works.
Yeah, I think
said losing
no
following Darvin,
but I'm just kind of out on Doc Rivers in general.
No, same. And then so Milwaukee 7, 8. I have Miami. I think they're kind of just they always just end up getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, talk about a team that doesn't care about the regular season.
Yeah, literally could care less. They're like, just get us into the playoffs and we'll figure it out. And then the last two, I think, is just, I mean, 8 or 9, 10 of the East is obviously just trying to like sift through garbage. But
well, you got the Hawks, you know, Trey.
Yep. I got Charlotte at 9 and Trey. Atlanta at 10.
Yeah, like,
I think Trey is going to win them games. I think Charlotte, they got like young talent that's going to win them some games. And
hot take, maybe throw in the Nets. You got Cam Thomas.
Yeah, look, I just think, I don't think
no,
I don't think the Nets got. I mean, well, Ben Simmons back playing.
Yeah, he's playing. He's on the court.
Yep,
he's still not shooting, but he's on the court.
Yeah, he's playing basketball. So
he's still scared to take anything.
That's a big win for him, is just being on a basketball court.
But honestly, he doesn't need to score because if you give it to Cam Thomas, it's going up.
Oh yeah, no, my man does not know.
No,
my pass
people
button
make
is
fun
off
of
his
MPJ
remote.
for like, doesn't swing the rock. No, Cam Thomas
can't. Yeah, no, he doesn't have a pass button. But
Schroeder's been good for him too. So
yeah, but yeah. So any differences on mine?
No, I think
we kind of talked through it all, anyways. Yeah. So perfect. Perfect. So then let's move on to who do you have in the finals, and who do you have winning it? Okay,
well, this is a homer pick.
You got Denver.
I'm a Nuggets fan.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to say this. I think it's Nuggets-Knicks. That's who I think is in the championship. But I think the Nuggets have to make – we'll talk about the Nuggets later. But if they can if Jamal can be, I don't know, good, like not decent, not average, just a good NBA player. What he really was.
What he is in the playoffs?
Well, no, he's insane. He was insane in a couple of playoffs. But just good. Just like efficient. He has the best player in the league next to him. Just be good. I think Christian Brown's really good. I think MPJ, I mean, he has his moments.
Mm-hmm.
He kills the Lakers, and then he couldn't do anything against the Timberwolves. And Aaron Gordon's good, but I think it's them and then the Knicks. We'll kind of get to it later, too, but I'm all in on Cat.
Okay.
With the Knicks. And I don't like Cat. I thought when the Nuggets played them, the Timberwolves in the playoffs last year, I was happy when he was taking shots, especially in important moments.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Knicks, I like Brunson. I like Bridges a lot. I've always liked Bridges.
I need to figure out what's going on with his jump shot.
Well, my finals pick, them going to the finals is purely on him
figuring out his jump shot.
Because if he's going to shoot 32% from 3 with his ugly jumper, I'm out.
Yeah. No, I think so. Going back to it, like with the same thing with the Knicks is I love the Cat pickup for him. Why I say 1A is I think Cat's going to be their scorer during the game. I think Brunson's their closer.
Oh, he's 100% their closer.
So that's why I think they can be that's why I say 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
But I think them in Boston is going to be a series. Like
I do too.
But that's going to be the series where Cat needs to show he can play because they don't have anybody that should be able to guard him.
Well, that's not totally true because he can get physical, and this is why I loved watching him against the Nuggets, and I was like, go ahead and take it. He doesn't like to be physical.
No.
So like, even though it's probably
But who on Boston?
Porzingis. That's who's going to be.
But that's the thing. And I'm like, bro, he's got so much weight and just skill level over Porzingis. Like, I'm saying that's where he needs to dominate that series to like really like solidify himself. Because that's what I'm saying. Like,
but the thing about the Celtics, and this is kind of going against my next pick, but they're so good defensively that like if let's say they're putting Cat on the block, they're gonna double.
Yeah.
And if Mikal Bridges' jumper's ugly.
Yep, that's why you need Mikal Bridges to be able to shoot.
It's not just that, it's Josh Hart. Like, you got to rely on him to hit some shots.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a series, but I think if the Knicks are going to get to the finals, the only way they get there through Boston is Cat dominating.
Yeah.
Because he's got the most favorable matchups in that series.
And Brunson has to deal with Drew, then Derek White. And they have guys.
Yeah, they've got guys.
They'll put Jalen on. They'll put Jason Tatum on.
They can put. Yeah, they've got 4 solid to elite defenders that they can put on him.
Yeah,
that like match up well with him.
But I think that's the thing about the Knicks going the other way is like you got OG you can put on Tatum.
Yeah,
and I think that's a good matchup because he's thick, so Tatum's not gonna like. He's not gonna like going like into him.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that's crazy to say. He's not.
Yeah, I know, dude. I didn't know how else to.
Yeah, no, I feel you, but wow,
it's a physical matchup that he's not gonna like.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And then Bridges too, so it's like 2 guys.
Yeah, they've got the guys to defend Boston. I think the Knicks is going to be on. Like I said, that's why I say Cat's got to be like that guy.
Yeah,
and so, and then as far as you got Knicks, Denver winning it all.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I actually think I have a rematch of last year. I think we see.
Well, I can't hate the Celtics. I can never hate.
Yeah, I think we see Dallas, Boston again, and I see Boston winning it. Like I see them getting the repeat.
Look, they're the best team.
Yeah, that was the thing because I wanted to pick anybody else because I hate Boston. I wanted to pick anybody else, and I was looking for reasons to pick anybody else. But I just kept coming back to the fact that I was like, the only team in the East I think could beat them would be the Knicks, and for the Knicks to beat them, I have to trust Cat way more than I want to.
Like I hear you.
Yeah, so that's why I have Boston, and then the West. I think we'll talk about as far as who we look at as contenders, but I think I've got like 5-6 teams in the league that are contenders, and all but one of them is in the West.
Yeah.
Boston is the only contender I truly see in the East.
Well, and like you got the Knicks. But
Knicks I have like on the outside bubble of contenders.
The reason I'm actually in on the Nuggets is, and I know it's my team, but I think the Timberwolves, like if the Nuggets could have gotten through the Wolves, even the players were like, oh, we were tired, like whatever. I think that's stupid because I think when you're in there, you're not tired.
No.
So, like, I think if they get through that, I don't think the Mavs beat them.
I don't either. I think the Nuggets are a bad matchup for the Mavs.
But now the Wolves don't have like what they had before.
Agreed. But I also, and we've talked about it a little bit, I think the Nuggets, I don't think they're going to be as good as they've been in the past. Because I think losing the shooting of KCP, I think is going to be bigger than like losing KCP as like a player. He's not like some big star player.
Yeah,
I think losing his shooting is going to hurt you guys.
See, well, like I agree in the way of losing him sucks, and it's not because I think Christian Brown's a good 2-guard. I think defensively he's better than KCP.
Oh yeah, he might be. I would say
he's more physical. So that's like
he's more physical, but like I look at him as where it's like I don't think you lose or like gain a ton defensively. Like he's a better defender, but you don't gain a ton. But I think the shooting that you lose with KCP to Brown.
It's Brown.
Yeah, the amount of shooting you lose is where like there's I think a big gap.
Like yes, but KCP like, and I understand where you're coming from with this. I think Brown's a better like attacker.
Oh yeah,
and he can shoot. He doesn't shoot at high volume like KCP, but KCP didn't either. Dude, KCP was averaging like. I don't even know if he was averaging double digits. It was like 10, 2, and 2. Like
no, agreed.
But the problem is KCP's gone. You take Brown off the bench.
Yeah, so now your bench isn't as good.
Our bench is cheeks.
Yeah.
And
I also look
you have to rely on young guys.
Well, that and then like from even like obviously watching the Lakers and the Nuggets play, in the playoff series and everything, the amount of big shots KCP hits, like timely shots in the game.
Yeah.
Like he's a guy where it's like, I mean, he was with the Lakers. He was hitting big shots in like playoff games, finals games with Denver, hitting big shot.
Yeah.
Like he was a guy where it almost seemed like, especially in those Lakers Nugget series, where it's like the Lakers would kind of cut it down to like 2 or like be a tie game, and then all of a sudden KCP hits like 2 straight threes in the fourth quarter, and it's like you go from a tie game to a 6-point game, and then it's done.
Yeah,
and so like missing that, I think, is where you get into playoff games. Like you don't have that proven guy who's like hit big shots. Now you got Brown there.
Yeah,
and it's like, so I think that's where I'm like, I could see you guys not.
You're taking a shot at Brown. He has won in high school, college, and the NBA, so he's a winner.
No, look. Tim Tebow was a winner too.
No,
I'm not
first
saying
off, never
in the NFL.
Brown. And
yeah, no, I'm not saying he's that kind of player, but I'm saying like I think role player winners are highly overrated.
No, I agree, but it's
But no, I get what you mean.
And like that whole thing, now the Nuggets have to rely on young guys like Strother, who is going to be good, but do you want him in a playoff series? Do you rely on him to hit 2 threes in the fourth quarter of a 2-point game? Yeah, like, so probably not.
And that's where I think you guys have the drop off, where I could see you guys not making it through the West because you have that kick out where it's like, oh, we need this one.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's airball, side of the backboard.
But easy on the side of the backboard.
No. And then, speaking of side of the backboard, I also do not like the addition of Russ.
Okay. I guess we'll start this now, huh? So look.
No, so we'll get to it. Okay. But anyways, so but yeah, so that's kind of where I land is Boston, Dallas. I think Dallas just because, like you said earlier, Jokic, I think is still the best player in the NBA. I would put Luka at 2. And if I don't see Jokic getting it through, the only other team I could see getting through the West would be Luka, especially because I think OKC, for whatever reason, I just don't believe in them in the playoffs.
There's something about Shea that I don't like.
There's something about just the team. I just feel like they're like Shea is good, but I don't think he's great. And like I think they're like a team of like good players.
Well, I think they have. Well, I think Chet's gonna. He's not there yet. Yeah, I think he's gonna be. Really
I compare them in this. It's weird because the team won a championship, but it's kind of like an off championship. The Pistons. Yeah, like that's what they look like to me. It's like, okay, they don't have like a superstar top 5 in the league guy.
I think Shea's I think he's a top 10 guy.
And closer to 10 than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like 7 or 8. But yeah. I and I didn't pick him either, but you have like Caruso who's won.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a big pickup. Harkenstein's a big pickup for him. But it's just, there's something about him I don't believe in.
I just don't. But there's something about Dallas. I know they got there last year, but like, I don't know. I think it's kind of like in Atlanta that one year when they made the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're just not going to be that team.
Again, it's just like I said, I boiled it down to the fact that I thought Denver takes a step back. And so who's the best player on a team that's a contender? And I was like, it's Dallas. And so, yeah. So that's the only reason I got them there. But yeah, again, I think Boston just rolls through and wins everything. I don't think Boston goes to a 6th game.
Out on Boston. I'm so out on Tatum.
I hate him. I can't stand him. I think Tatum is, I don't want to say overrated because I feel like most people are like, he's not that great. Or like he's not like a top.
I don't think anyone thinks he's that.
Yeah, but their
team is disgusting.
It's just they're the Pistons on steroids. Yeah,
like with actual like. I mean, I don't want to take shots.
It's if you take the Pistons and you just move everybody up one class. So, but yeah. So then let's move to who you see as contenders in the league, and kind of your top. So we'll take out Denver because you already kind of gave them in the finals. Take out New York because you got them in the finals, and we kind of talked about them. But who are the teams that you could see winning and why?
See, I think the Suns in the West. Okay. I would have actually taken the Suns over
Dallas.
Okay, because I think that team.
I don't hate it.
You have. I mean, KD, who people want to hate, but he was a winner. Like when he was with the Warriors, he won.
Got him to the finals.
I think Booker, when the Nuggets played the Suns 2 years ago, he scared me so bad.
No,
because he's just automatic. I don't know about Beal. I'm still like, I liked Beal when him and John Wall were playing. However many years ago that was. Now I'm kind of like,
for me with them, I look at them and I'm like, it's their three best players, and I've said this to you before, but they're three of the same player.
yeah, they're just scorers. They're just
It's like,
and they score the same way. Like
exactly.
KD tough mid range, Book tough
mid range. Beal.
But
Like
they're
Beal's
tough
more
shot
of a,
makers.
No,
like,
they are, but it's just
Beal's a little less.
Yeah, but it's tough when I'm like, okay, you have three of the same player and they're all three your best players. Like that's tough for me to believe. Like I can't say I couldn't see them going far, but yeah, that's my only issue with
they
the
have
Beal.
Grayson Allen, who is like automatic.
Dog became an elite 3-point shooter.
I mean, the best in the
Yeah.
I don't know, in a way.
Well, yeah,
Spot shooter, just spot shooter guy.
Yeah.
So it's like you have Book who can shoot, you have KD who can shoot, you have Grayson Allen who can shoot. Tyus Jones, he can shoot, but
yeah, he's what he is.
But like, if you're gonna run out you can run out Grayson Allen, the other three, and then like Nurkic, who I'm not high on at all.
But he's what he is. He's a big body for him down there.
He's dumb. That's a kind of problem. But those
and
guys
you kind of have to respect him offensively.
Yeah, yeah. But
like said,
he's a big.
That's
body.
why I said you kind of have to.
But so you can put out like those four, and it's like you can't help.
No, yeah, and
like,
I mean, and any of those three 1-on-1 is a night.
Like you can't help, and you have Booker going 1-on-1. If you have a bad defender out there,
yeah,
they're going to get the switch, and then
it's not even you have to have three good to elite defenders to play them.
So, like that's
wing defenders.
That's why I think the Suns are the second team. And the reason I picked the Nuggets, nobody has a big that can really guard Jokic.
No,
where like teams like OKC could probably guard the Suns.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, those guys might just be better players. That it's good defense, better offense kind of thing. But they're my kind of like secondary team. After that, then you go to like I'd probably say OKC. I don't think they're ready yet. I think they're there in 2 years.
So you really only have one other contender in the West.
Well, in the West, yeah.
Okay.
And there's the Timberwolves. I don't like Julius Randle. Yeah, I don't like that pickup. So I kind of always look at it from the Nuggets perspective as a Nuggets fan. In the East, obviously, I didn't pick the Celtics. Outside of the Celtics, I mean, I guess the Cavs, like maybe.
Yeah, I think they fall into that same thing where it's just like I can't believe in them. Like,
I would never pick them over the Celtics.
Yeah, no, I don't think I couldn't pick them over the Celtics or the Knicks, and I couldn't see them being in a finals like at all.
I know
I couldn't see them in the finals. So,
but I would have picked the Magic. I would have had the Magic in that tier.
Really.
Their defense is so good. If Franz could, because he was dreadful shooting last year, dreadful, and like it was a huge fall off. I think he was like kind of mid high 30s 2 years ago, and then last year he was like low 30s.
Yeah,
and he if he could learn how to shoot again, I thought their team was just like automatic, and they had so many guys off the bench that could come in, just play defense, lock you up, make it just hell for you on offense.
Yeah, I think their issue is like you said, just
not enough
offense. Scoring. Yeah, like in the playoffs,
you got to have something.
You got to have offense. Like defense is great,
but they're like the outside.
Yeah.
Like everything breaks right. KCP shoots well. Gary Harris is shooting well. Suggs is playing well.
Yeah,
and then you have those two guys, and then just bring in like Jonathan Isaac. But
yeah, no. So yeah, like I said earlier, I got obviously Celtics as a contender in the West. Dallas is in the finals, so obviously I think at the end is a contender. The only other contenders I see are Phoenix, Denver. Obviously, what we've talked about with Phoenix. Denver, again, you have what arguably is the best player in the world. And, we've seen what they can do.
Yeah.
And then I have, so Phoenix, Denver, and then the Lakers. And the Lakers is like that outside bubble. But look, this is the only reason I say it, is because we've seen that this iteration of the team, really the only team I don't think they can beat in the playoffs, and I don't know anymore, but would have been Denver.
Yeah.
I think if they get through Denver last year, there's a chance they end up in the finals. But so I think just kind of like their biggest thing is one, where they fall in the bracket. But I also look at if they're in a place where AD is the number one option and healthy.
Yeah.
So AD is going to be a problem. LeBron, we know what he does in the playoffs.
LeBron,
yeah. So I think if they can match up with anybody outside of Denver, I think I could see them in the finals. On that,
the only problem I have with them is D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah. I'm
'Cause
yeah.
I'm so out on these guys who are like bad defenders, not really consistent shooters, not really like don't want to do anything really off ball either. And
Yep.
JJ has changed that, but it's also new. Like
Yeah.
you get to game 62 and he's like, you know what? I really don't want to do that anymore. I'm just gonna go ISO and I'm gonna try to cook this guy. And
Well, that's the
it's like,
thing
oh,
is
okay,
like
cool. And like,
I think D'Lo, and it sucks 'cause I like D'Lo. Like I
he's
like
not
his play style. I think he's better than he gets than like the perception of him is. He suffers from the fact of like you're playing on the Lakers with LeBron.
yeah,
So everything like
Is-
is magnified.
yeah.
Like and when you have bad playoff games like he has where like you are like a clear like massive negative,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to shake that.
But that's like kind of his thing. He's an on ball guy.
Oh yeah, no,
Like-
he needs the ball, and that's why I say I love his game because like if he's your main ball handler, like I think
he's like the joke they make, like Hooper and basketball player.
yeah,
Like he's Hooper. Like he's it looks cool. He's gonna make hits and like cool shots.
I think if he was to be like if you put him on the Lakers, but LeBron isn't on there as like
And it's
the
like him
primary
and
ball
AD
handler,
working it.
yeah, I think he'd be like that is a perfect situation for him. Like give him like a great big where he's the primary ball handler because I think he's got great vision. He passes the ball well.
But that team's not a contender.
Exactly.
He's not a guy to be on a contender like this.
No, and so I think he may end up getting moved.
I mean, they always try.
No, I know. I would almost say at this point it's like it sucks because like it's bad because every team they're linked to with him, I hate what they get back. Like Zach LaVine is like the big target. I'm like I think that's such a. I would rather D'Lo.
I mean, I don't know if I'd rather D'Lo, but
yeah, like
I wouldn't want LaVine.
No, exactly. So, but anyways, but yeah, so that's why I have them as kind of like I said, they're not like one of the main contenders. Like if there's the contender bubble,
yeah,
they're like like half of their logo is it.
Yeah, that's like my Magic version of it.
Yeah.
Like,
so I just think if they get the right matchups, basically if they don't have to play Denver,
honestly they just get lucky. Maybe like a guy sprained his ankle, he's not as good. Like they get through that team, they catch the Nuggets. Jamal's doing what Jamal's doing right now.
Yeah, like I could. That's what I'm saying. I could see them in the finals. I think, but like everything has to be right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyways,
real quick, let me go back. I just wanted to say I looked it up. Franz shot 28% from
that's
three.
bad.
He was 36 the year before. Like if he can learn how to shoot, once again, I'm kind of in.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think, like I said, he needs to be better. It's just even with him being better, I just think their offense is tough.
Yeah, I agree. But that's why
okay. And so moving on from the contenders, playoffs, everything. Who's a team that you're like, if you're excited to like watch this year? Can't be Denver.
Like just going to like League Pass and like, oh dude,
yeah, like
team.
if you see them, like you're like, okay, Denver's not playing tonight. Who's on? And you're like, oh, I hope this team's playing.
Well, this is actually kind of funny because I like used to like watch the Lakers as like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't wait to watch them lose. They're not talented. But I actually like watching like the actions they do now.
Yeah,
it's honestly like I like JJ Redick. I listened to his podcast before.
Yeah,
like I would consistently listen to it. And like now as a coach, like watching him kind of control it, I actually like watching them. And we'll see once again. I'm gonna kind of hate watch them.
Yeah.
So like they get to like the 20 game mark. I'm like, oh, I hope D'Lo starts hating what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's really the Thunder. I like the Thunder.
Yeah.
And I hate Shea's game. It might be because he puts up like 35 against the Nuggets every time they play. But like I just like how they play. They're like a fun team. I don't like their after game stuff, but they're like a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
They have so many guys. I like Chet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so mine is OKC is one.
But I was like,
and the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, OKC is one of mine. I think. I mean, anytime I feel like young teams are always just fun to watch.
Yeah, because they're going all out in the regular season, and then like you watch the older teams, and they're like, yeah, we don't really care.
Yeah, no, like older teams, they're like, all right, we're down by 25. Let's just pack this one in.
Hey guys, fight back? No.
Yeah, the Thunder are like, hey, we're down by 25. Like, I know it's halftime. Like, let's go out and see if we can cut it down.
He said, hey, we can cut this to like 8, and then fourth quarter we'll win.
Yeah. So them, and then Houston is the other one. I like watching Houston because I feel like Şengün is like, I like watching teams. Like I like watching guys who like play basketball, like understand basketball, like a Jokic. Like I hate his game, like aesthetically,
but like how they
but
understand
watching how he understands the game. Yeah, same with like it's one of the reasons I love LeBron. Like watching how he understands the game at like a level where you look at like obviously everybody in the NBA understands the game, and then you got guys who are really smart. And then you got guys like Jokic, LeBron, where it's just like they see the game totally different.
Where they always put you in a bad spot.
Yeah, and so like I think Şengün is like that mini like Jokic, like not to a level of Jokic, but like he
might grow into it.
Yeah, he sees the floor super well, high IQ, and then I think you take that and then you couple it with I love watching Jalen Green just because he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete.
Yeah, freak athlete, and like dude, when he's on, it's hilariously fun to watch.
Yeah.
So those are my two.
So it's kind of funny. I would actually say the Rockets last year for me was a team, and I like Şengün. I was actually big on like the get rid of Jalen Green, make it his team, and go. And Jalen Green's gotten better.
Yeah.
But Şengün this year, I don't know. Maybe it's because Jalen Green's their guy. So like I don't really like watching them as much. Yeah. But a couple other, I already said the Knicks. I love Jalen Brunson. I actually like that whole Villanova team. Yeah. I wish they never broke it up.
Yeah.
But
DiVincenzo's still there.
Because I like Josh Hart. I like Jalen Brunson. I like Mikal Bridges.
I just love their podcast.
Yeah, and I think they're hilarious. So, like, DiVincenzo is like a lesser version. So I was like, oh, like when he got traded, I was like, I don't really care. I like Josh Hart, Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. So that's a team. And then, I just wanted to add them because I kind of forgot about them.
No, all good. All right, and so then who are teams you could see? Give me one team you could see overachieving this year from where kind of they're projected. One team you could see underachieving. I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So overachieving, just talking about, I could see Houston. I think they're a young team with talent that just hasn't been able to kind of put it together. I think if we see them kind of start putting it together this year, I could see them kind of being in that rather like, most the last couple of years they've been almost a play-in, like last year, almost a play-in. I could see them moving up to like a 7 or a 6 if they like figure it out. Underachieving, we talked about already, T-Wolves. Julius Randle hated the move. I don't think they have, like, I think now they're very like Anthony Edward, like fully dependent.
Yeah.
So unless they make a move, which I can't see you making a move, like I don't know who else would want Julius Randle.
Yeah, and teams will want him, but like, is it going to fit well? Is it going to?
Yeah, and what do you get back for him?
Like the awkward thing is they need a shooter there. It has to be because you can't have Gobert and like a non-shooter 4.
But that's why to me it made no sense moving Cat because he fit with what they needed. But yeah, so I could see the T-Wolves massively underachieving this year.
Yeah, I can see it. And I mean, I'm still in on I love Anthony Edwards.
No, Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite players in the league.
So for me, I mean, overachieving is the Warriors.
Yeah.
I kind of put it in when we were going through the standings, but I just, once again, they're so deep. There's so many guys. I don't think it kind of fits for playoffs and you can kind of see with how the teams I've picked for like my championship team, they're not really deep. Like the Nuggets, I think they have the best starting 5.
Yeah.
But it's like their bench. I'm like,
yeah, bench is tough.
But starting 5, like that's who wins you. If you have a 7,
you shrink your rotation down to 7 in the playoffs. Anyways, 8 if you have a real deep team.
You're not going to play 10 guys in the playoffs.
No,
game. It's just not going to happen. So that's why I think they're the team to overachieve, at least regular season. Underachieve. This is kind of funny. We haven't even talked about this team, which is weird. Is the Spurs?
Yeah, I could see that.
Everyone's so in on Wembanyama.
Very high, yep.
He got Chris Paul. It's like, oh, that's cool. They're going to fit together, blah, 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 blah. This is going to be like a little bit of a hot take, and by a little bit, I mean kind of a lot. I'm not like that in on Wembanyama. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be great defensively. His offensive game, I've watched, 4 games this year. I watched him, and I know it's rookie year, second year, whatever. They keep making him a guard. They have him on the perimeter. He's trying to cook. Like, no, I don't really need you to do that.
Yeah. No, I thought I had put this in here, but I was just looking. We didn't. I wanted to talk about Wemby because, I'm the same way. I think, first of all, the amount of,
I just said that's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think, the amount of hype he came in with where, you got guys who are
best prospects since LeBron.
Yeah.
Better than LeBron.
Better than LeBron. Like, you had, shows where they were like, oh, yeah, if he's Hakeem Olajuwon, he's a failure.
Yeah.
Like, dog, you're talking about a top 10 player all time, and he's a failure if he's not that.
Yeah. I'm just
yeah. But, because now defensively
he could be like the best defensive player
ever. Yeah, he could be that. But like that was my thing coming in is like offensively, his game is just so like raw offensively. Like he has nights where, I mean, if it's falling, he's gonna.
Yeah, you know who else has nights like that? Evan Mobley.
Yeah,
cool.
he'll look on nights like he is the best player in the NBA, not even close. And you have people saying he was going to be the best player in the NBA
by his second year,
by this year.
Yeah,
and so I just think he's so raw offensively that like. Again, like you said, I could see them because people do have them winning this year and like kind of getting in the playoffs. I can't see that at all.
I didn't even mention him in my play-in teams, things like that.
No.
And before the year, like I might have placed a bet on their over, but like then I've watched him, and it was honestly because of Chris Paul.
But then, I thought the Chris Paul thing would help.
I was like, yeah, that's cool. They're gonna run 2-man, he's gonna throw him lobs, boom, dunk. But then like you watch him, and it's like at the top, he's like jab step, dribble left, 3. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're 7 foot.
It's weird too because like I thought with Chris Paul, I thought the same thing. Chris Paul, I thought was gonna help unlock him because Chris Paul, obviously one of the best point guards of all time, like will get guys in the right spots. Yeah, older, but his like getting him in the right spot has like you can do that as an older.
Yeah, and he's smart. He knows how the game works. He knows how
that. And I also thought with Pop, I'm like, okay, you got Pop, Chris Paul, 2 guys, elite IQ and everything. I thought we would see so much less of the Wembanyama ISOing.
Yeah,
so I totally agree with you there.
To be fair, they might be like working him into it. Like, well, we want him to develop this, so we're going to let him do it. It's going to be ugly at first, and maybe it works out. But like, you had people saying he was going to be a top 5 player in the league already. Yeah, and then like I'm watching him defensively. Don't get me wrong, unreal.
No. Dude is the elite of the elite.
The amount of players you see like go in when he's there, and they're just like, you know what, no, and then they'll just bring it out, and it's like, okay, that's he different.
Changes the game without like you said, like he might not get a block for it.
Yeah,
but they won't even take the layup.
Exactly, he didn't get a block because they just won't go up anymore. So, but the offensive thing, I'm so out. I think he's like Evan Mobley, and he's probably a little better than Evan Mobley, but
offensively, I mean, a little bit, but not
like,
much.
I don't like watching them.
No,
and like that's why I didn't even mention them as like teams I like to watch because
he's not fun to watch. Like I totally agree with you there. I think, like you said, the offensive part of his game. Like he needs to take a massive step on offense for him to be
just to have something. Like what can he go to? It's nothing really. And like last year, people were like, "Oh, well, nobody's like they couldn't make an entry pass to him," which their team wasn't very good, so they actually couldn't. But like it's like now they have a guy who can, and like he gets it, he faces.
You know who he reminds me of? Honestly, it's as far as like offensively, this player's better.
Yeah,
but like as far as like. When you look at him, like he doesn't have like the go-to move or like a go-to way to Anthony Davis.
Okay, yeah,
Anthony Davis coming in the league, elite defensively.
Yeah,
but like when you're like offensively, what did he do? And it's like, bro, his whole thing has been he's like, I just out athlete you, I guess. Like I get on the post and I
face up and I'm gonna go faster than you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go faster than the guy guarding me, and I'm gonna be a better athlete. Now, that's how I get points.
I mean, I don't know if I would argue AD had more touch, but. Like, and
I would say he did have more touch.
That's kind of the weird thing about Wemby is like he does have touch. Like his shot, it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
whatever, and like maybe it does develop. I just right now, and once again, I already said like I don't know if he's gonna be what people thought he was gonna be.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's a high. Like I think he's gonna be an all-star. I think he's gonna be like an all-NBA first team guy at a time.
Yeah.
But like right now, I hate watching him.
Yeah, no, right now I don't see a top 15 player all time.
No, I don't either. Maybe a best defender of all time, but
no, I'm right there with you on that one. Perfect. So talk about overachieving, underachieving. Now let's go to award predictions. So we can just start. Let's start defensive player of the year.
I think that's the best one to start because we literally just talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, so you're going Wemby?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think it's pretty clear.
So, Wemby is my second choice. Like obviously I think he's gonna get it. I think this might be the year where like the voters are gonna be like, we can't let AD not get a defensive player of the year.
I don't think so. Sorry.
Because I look at AD and I'm like, from a defensive point of view, I think he's been the best defensive player in the league a few times, but hasn't won defensive player. Like last year, I think he should have got it over Rudy.
Well, that's kind of what my argument was going to be for you is like if they wanted to give Anthony Davis a defensive player of the year, they probably would have taken
been
one of the
year.
ones against away from Rudy.
Yeah, I just again but I think there's so much noise around it now, and again, I think the voters for the NBA are different than a lot of things. I think they look at they don't want to look dumb later.
No. It's like kind of like the Embiid thing. It's like, are we going to really let Embiid go all these years without
winning an MVP? Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, I think this year, because I think they're going to look at Wemby as like, Wemby's going to win Defensive Player of the Years. They're like, as long as AD stays healthy enough and is like elite defensively like he has been, I think this is going to be the year where they're like, we're just going to give him this one. That way he's got one, and then we don't look dumb like historically. Yeah. Because like I think historically AD not having one would look bad.
Yeah, but he's got like all NBA defensive first team.
Yeah,
like that. But I just think I think there's such like a love fest for Wemby that they're like.
But that's the thing.
And he even had that comment when Rudy won his. And he was like, "Enjoy your last one."
Yeah, but do they give it to him if he's on a 20-win team? That's another thing. So.
I think so? Okay, but like
I know, like because that was a big thing last year, which I think defensive player
win team. I feel like that's aggressive.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. But I think defensive player of the year is like I don't care how many wins you have. MVP, I get it. Like MVP, you should probably be on a winning team, at least like a 48-win team.
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year, I'm like, dude, if you're the best defender in the league, you should get it.
Yeah,
I don't care what your team.
There's
record
still
is.
Offense that like if your team can't play offense, that's not
your
defensive player of the year thing.
But yeah, so I have Wemby as like. I obviously I think he'll probably win it.
Yeah.
But I could see AD winning it just for those kind of reasons. But then
there's also like Draymond. I mean, and look, Rudy's still a great defensive player. I don't think he's gonna win it, but there's Draymond. I'm like a big fan of guards. Like especially in the league now.
Yeah.
Like, if you can be on the perimeter and like actually just straight up defend somebody.
Oh, well,
I think that's so much more important now.
Well, yeah, especially now because with how skilled the wings are in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, it's being a defender on the wing is infinitely harder.
Yeah.
Than being a defender.
Than just being the help defender who comes
being the rim protector.
But, like, I'll give Wemby credit for that, too. And even AD. Like, those guys do. They'll switch.
They can switch and play.
But, like, that's why I always thought Drew should win because it was like, well, he's like usually on the best player and he'll be bigger. They'll be small, like usually not smaller, but they'll be bigger and he'll still just.
Oh yeah, no,
he's going to stay in front.
Elite defensively.
And probably rip him.
Yeah. Next, rookie of the year.
I don't know. I hate
this. Such a bad rookie class. So I know I almost took it out because I was like, this is trash. But
like, I like Edie. I really do. I don't know why.
I can't stand him.
I know. But like, I hate this class. There's, you got Sar, but like, Edie, I don't know. He's big. I think he's going to get enough minutes to where he's like actually
okay,
and he's going to win.
Yeah,
with Memphis. So if he can like be good, like it's kind of like that weird like, can he be good and like impactful on a winning team? And they're like, oh, this rookie class kind of sucks. So
yeah, I think so. I think. Obviously, we've seen with Rookie of the Year, like they could care less about wins.
Yeah,
I think.
But I just think because this so bad.
It's such a bad class. They're gonna be like, well, wins. I guess we got to go to that. I'm going with the Zachary Rosso.
Oh God,
I don't even know if I pronounced that right.
I don't think you did.
Probably not. I wanted to put some flair on it, so at least if I was wrong, like it was like had some sauce.
Yeah, you really put it on there.
But no, but I think from the Hawks, I think he's obviously he's a starter for them.
Yeah.
And it's like Trae Young and then who's going to score?
Yeah, they got Hunter, come on.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have numbers that are better than everybody. Like he's going to average like 13 a game or 12 a game and everyone's going to be like, "Well, the next highest is 6." And so
the one guy then like I didn't talk and we actually talked about the Spurs, which is funny.
Mhm.
Another guy. Castle.
Castle.
If he would just play. He doesn't play.
That was my thing because I want to pick him but I'm like he just doesn't get burned.
Yeah, they don't they're like, "Oh, we can just run these other guys out here."
Yeah. So that was the reason because I would have picked him because I like his game. And then hey, low-key, sleeper pick Dalton Connect.
Dude, he looks good sometimes.
Hey man, look, he can shoot and he plays with LeBron. So he's gonna get points. He's gonna hit a couple shots a game.
I can't remember this guy's name. He's for the Suns. It's like a shooter.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. He had a monster game against the. Actually, I don't know if it was
Ryan Dunn.
Ryan Dunn, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's not going to get it. He hasn't played enough.
Yeah, but
like
no,
I like
solid
him.
player. That was a good pickup for them.
But let's just get off of that.
Coach of the year,
Budenholzer.
Really?
He came in with the Suns. He kind of like, I mean, they're good. They were always like a middle of the pack team. Well, like a middle of the West team.
Yeah.
Now they're like, they kind of look like a dominant.
Like they could be.
Or
top.
my boy JJ.
So JJ's my sleeper. I think if the Lakers get to like a 4 or a 5 seed, it might be JJ. But I'm going with Kenny Atkinson with Cleveland.
Okay. I mean, if they just never lose.
I think what they're, like I said, I have them at the 3 seed. And I think when you really look at the team, young team, I mean, like they don't have any like superstar guy on it. And I think the voters, when they look, they're like, oh, you took a young team and made them a top team in the league. And so that's kind of been a recipe for guys who win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
And so that's why I have him.
Just the teams that like kind of. Well, I would actually say Ime with the Rockets. If they like,
I don't think they'll win enough.
I don't either. But if they jump to like the 6th seed,
I could see. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so
I don't think he gets in. He probably maybe they don't want to vote for him after all like
after everything. Yeah,
let him go.
Bad luck. Okay, so then give me an MVP, and then your dark horse MVP.
Is dark horse like dark horse? Can I give like a top like 2 or 3 MVPs, and then the dark horse is like
no, you got to give me a winner, and then give me a guy who like you're like not a popular pick to win.
So, well, my MVP actually, this is recent. I think it's Jokic, and I know he's already won. Blah 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 blah. I think this might be the best team. I don't think this might be the best season, and just obviously we're 7 games in again. I think this might be the best season he ever has. Because he's shooting unreal from 3 right now.
Yeah, but that gives him what? 4 MVPs?
Yeah, well, hey, when you're the best player in the league, top 10 player all time, you know?
Yeah, well, okay, we're going to slow down on the top 10 player of all time. I think you got to do a little bit more. But that would put him what? It would just 4 MVP winners?
I mean, LeBron's there.
LeBron, MJ, Kareem.
Yeah. So, but like going just
it'd be a crazy class to put him in right now. But but I also don't know how many more years he's got left where he could win it.
I think he probably. I honestly like probably 4.
Yeah,
I
think if he wins this one, he probably will never win another one.
Probably not, but well, the reason I'm saying this, and the only reason is because his 3-point shooting usually it actually doesn't start that great. He's been unreal from 3.
Yeah, no, he's been monster.
Especially after he said his team, he's like, yeah, we're a bunch of just non-shooters other than Jamal and MPJ. And then he's like, all right, cool, I'm going to go out and shoot a lot of 3s. And But I think that's just...
Okay.
And look, he's always going to be in it. It's really the voter. He's the best player in the league. We've seen it with LeBron where it's like...
You get the voter. Yeah, it's just part of it. That's why I'm like, it's going to be hard for him to win, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm still in. Okay. And I didn't think he would win last year. I thought he was done.
Yeah, last year it was just like.
But then, like, the voters are smarter now than they used to be.
True.
Like back in the day, it was like it had to be a story. It had to be.
They still kind of do.
They do a little bit,
and they still do like.
Well, like
like we talked about with
the Embiid MVP. Like Jokic definitely deserved. Like maybe I think it was the year before. There was a year in there where Embiid probably deserved it more than he did last year. Or 2 years ago.
I think last year, honestly, if Embiid had ended up playing.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Last year, Embiid was insane to start the first half of the year. Yeah, that was he ended up getting hurt. But, he was averaging
That's exactly what it was. Last year, I was like, as the season was going on, I was like, if there's ever a year, give it to him this year.
Since
they gave it to him 2 years ago, I was like, no, you can't.
I think he would have gotten it if he ended up, playing enough to get it. Because, and obviously, he would have had his numbers were unreal. Dude, he was averaging 35, 12, and 6 assists.
He was unreal. We always knew it was going to last in the playoffs. But
but
I just think going back, last thing, the voters. I just think they're smarter now. They look at the numbers and they're like, this guy's literally dominating.
Yeah.
And honestly, looking back, he's never had an all-star. He's never had an all-star teammate. Mm-hmm. He's doing this without guys who, and Jamal Murray, he has his moments. And in the playoffs, he had those unreal moments. But like throughout a regular season to just keep winning. It's like
No,
you
absolutely.
have Jamal who's shooting 44% from the field, 37% from three, things like that. It's like,
Yeah, no, he's become the guy where it used to be LeBron, where it's like you could basically
vote for him all.
You can vote for him every year, but he just makes good players
better,
so much better.
Yeah,
because he just puts them in the right places to be best at what they do. So no, like I said, I love Jokic's game. I hate watching it because it's just ugly.
Yeah,
but it's ugly.
It's beautiful.
No, them little drives to the basket, like
it's awkward.
It's awkward, so it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah.
Like I hate it, but like I also have I love it because of like watching the other stuff he does.
Yeah.
So okay, dark
and
horse.
Then dark horse, I'm going kind of really down. Donovan Mitchell.
Whoa, yeah, that's way.
Well, you said dark horse. So,
okay, yeah, I wasn't
because
going
there's Luka, whatever, but like I think if they ended up being like a 2 seed.
Wow, I think they're gonna.
See, there's a couple guys I think about in this because I would actually said Brunson too.
Okay, Brunson. I would have said Brunson would have been dark horse.
Yeah, well,
because my dark horse is
well, Donovan Mitchell. You said whoa when I said it, so that was pretty dark.
yeah. No, Donovan Mitchell was wild. So, yeah, but okay. I mean, yeah, I could see it. I guess best player on a 2 seed, got to go to somebody.
And you don't want to give it to Jokic. You you have Shea, you have all these guys, but I think those guys are obvious.
Yeah, well, so when I say dark, so I think Luka, Joker, Shea, Giannis, those are the guys.
Obvious
those
guys.
Are obvious. Anybody outside of that is kind of what I would say dark horse. So you'll see
outside of it.
Oh yeah. So I think Luka will win it this year. I think he's going to put up insane numbers.
I think that's the favorite.
Doesn't have an MVP yet. Just makes sense.
Yeah. He's been bad.
I know, but he's going to get it together. He's just dark horse. This is what. So I have AD. I think if they have a good year,
I knew you were going to say that actually.
Yeah. I think if they have a good year and they outperform where I think they are, I have them at 6.
Yeah.
If they get up to a 4, I think with how he's playing, I could see him winning it.
Yeah, I don't hate that, and I agree. He's been really good, unreal.
Mm-hmm. So. And his biggest thing has always been consistency, and he's finally strung together a consistent string of games where he's been great.
Yeah.
So again, we'll see what happens, but yeah. So let's move on. Predictions done, locked in. We'll come back later, see how wrong you are.